Life doesn't whisper, it roars. And when it comes for you, it doesn't knock politely at the door. It crashes through like a hurricane, tearing apart everything you thought was safe. The people you trusted betray you. The dreams you built collapse into dust. Your own mind turns against you at 3 a.m., strangling you with regrets, mistakes, and fears you can't erase. You lie there, wide awake, haunted by voices no one else can hear. Your failures, your rejections, your broken hopes, clawing at you like wolves in the dark. And you start to wonder, how much more can I take before I shatter? But listen to me. You're not the only one who stood in that darkness. 2,000 years ago, an emperor, Marcus Aurelius, sat in his tent, surrounded by war, betrayal, and plague. His empire was collapsing, death was everywhere, and the weight of millions pressed on his shoulders. Any ordinary man would have broken, but he didn't. He wrote words that burned through time like fire through dry wood. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And that's the moment everything changes. Because Stoicism isn't about smiling while your life burns. It isn't about becoming a lifeless statue. No, it's about stepping into the flames and coming out forged. It's about turning pain into armor, rejection into fuel, fear into discipline. It's about building a mind so unshakable that the world itself could collapse around you, and you would still stand. And tonight, I'm not here to give you motivation. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to put a weapon in your hands. 8 brutal Stoic laws. 8 strikes of the hammer. 8 truths that will either break you or forge you into something the world can no longer touch. Because right now, your mind is a battlefield. It's wild, untamed, tearing itself apart every time someone criticizes you, every time life throws you down. But these laws, they are the chains, they are the fire, they are the reins you need to grab hold of that raging beast inside your head and bend it to your will. And make no mistake, this is going to hurt. These truths will slice through your excuses like a blade through flesh. They will expose every weakness you've hidden behind. They will burn. But pain is the proof you're alive. Pain is the hammer. Pain is the sound of the old you breaking apart so the real you can be born. Marcus Aurelius wasn't spared from chaos. Seneca wasn't spared from suffering. Epictetus was chained, enslaved, beaten, yet they rose. They found the only freedom that matters, the power within the mind. That's what I'm offering you tonight. Not comfort, not escape. Power. The kind of power no one can steal, no storm can destroy, no betrayal can break. So, before we begin, I want you to do one thing, right now. Write these words in the comments as if you're carving them into stone with your bare hands. I choose mental strength over mental weakness. Smash that like button if you're ready to burn down the lies you've been living under. Subscribe, because what you're about to hear will not just change how you think, it will change who you are. And don't you dare skip a single second. Every law builds on the last. Every strike of the hammer matters. If you walk with me to the end, your mind will never be the same again. Because tonight, we aren't chasing motivation. Tonight, we build your fortress. Now let's go. Right now, as you sit here, your mind is clawing at shadows. You're haunted by things slipping through your fingers like smoke. Your ex who ghosted you and left you spiraling. Your boss who looks at you and doesn't see your worth. The economy that shifts like an earthquake beneath your feet. The whispers of other people who think they know you, who dissect your life as if their opinion is law. The family drama that poisons the air in your own home. The weather that laughs at your carefully laid plans. All of it, swirling, crashing, pulling you into a war you cannot win. And yet, you fight it anyway, until your soul feels like it's bleeding out. But here's the savage reality. Every ounce of energy you waste trying to strangle what you can't control is stolen from the very things you could master. That theft robs you of peace, burns your progress, and leaves you powerless in your own life. It's like grabbing at fire. Your hands blister, but you're still empty-handed. The world is ruthless, but your greatest enemy is not the world. It's your obsession with fighting the wrong battles. Epictetus knew this better than anyone. A man born into chains, a man stripped of control over his body, his freedom, his fate. And yet he discovered a truth so sharp it could cut iron. Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our property, reputation, position, and, in a word, whatever is not of our own doing. Imagine that, a slave with nothing but everything, because he mastered what was untouchable by his captors, his mind. Let's drag that wisdom into your world. When someone slices you off in traffic, you cannot control their reckless hands on the wheel, but you can decide whether that moment poisons your morning or bounces off your armor. When your boss crushes you with rejection, you cannot force their decision, but you can take that rejection and carve it into a blade that sharpens your hunger for the next step. When life spits in your face, you cannot change the spit, but you can wipe it off, stand straighter, and dare the world to spit again. Think back to the last time you were furious, trembling, consumed by anxiety. Trace that fire back to its root. Strip away the people, the situations, the noise. What's left? Your response, your interpretation, your choice. That is the battlefield. That is where wars are either lost in chains or won with unbreakable will. Victim or victor. Slave or sovereign. The unshakable know the secret. They don't drain their lifeblood over what cannot be bent. They don't wrestle the storm. They become the calm at the eye of it. They don't cry about the cards they've been dealt. They slam those cards on the table and play them like a king. Their power is not in controlling the chaos outside, but in mastering the fire inside. Understand this. Acceptance is not surrender. This is not lying down and letting life roll over you. This is ruthless focus, strategic energy, a decision to stop wasting yourself on ghosts and start building yourself into a fortress. When you refuse to fight battles that are not yours, you suddenly unlock terrifying strength to dominate the ones that are. Your attitude, your effort, your boundaries, your standards, your relentless will to act. These are weapons no storm can strip away. So from this moment forward, when frustration boils in your chest, when anger claws at your throat, stop. Tear the moment apart and ask yourself, is this mine to control or mine to accept? If it is not yours, let it burn behind you. If it is yours, grip it like steel and forge your next move. Because the man who learns this law becomes untouchable. No storm can drown him. No rejection can break him. No chaos can own him. He doesn't just survive life, he masters it. You've been dodging it your entire life. The awkward conversation you keep putting off because it twists your stomach. The workout you skipped because it burns too much. The brutal project that feels too heavy, so you shove it to the side. The mirror that shows you truths you don't want to face. You've been running, not from danger, not from enemies, but from discomfort itself. And in that running, you've been running away from the very forge that could turn your soft flesh into iron. Comfort has lied to you. It wraps its arms around you like a lover, but in reality, it is a prison guard whispering poison. It tells you that you're safe, that you're fine, that you've earned your rest. But while you sit in that cozy little cell, your fire is suffocating, your strength is rusting, your potential is being starved to death. Comfort doesn't love you. Comfort wants you weak, docile, and trapped. Marcus Aurelius knew this. He didn't just endure discomfort. He invited it, embraced it, trained with it like a soldier sharpening his sword on the whetstone of hardship. He once wrote, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this something up to me or not? If it's not, I don't allow it to disturb me." But beneath those words was something deeper, a warrior's instinct to step into difficulty, not away from it. He understood that a man who never bleeds never grows. Think back to your last breakthrough, the last time you felt alive, like your soul cracked open and something new was born. Did it happen when you were comfortable, soft, unchallenged? No, it came when you were forced beyond your limits, when you were thrown into fire with no way out, when your back was against the wall and comfort had abandoned you. That's when you grew teeth. That's when you discovered you had more inside you than you ever imagined. But every time you choose the easy way out, you betray yourself. Every time you avoid the hard conversation, you stay small. Every time you quit at the first sting of pain, you train your mind to believe discomfort is danger, that struggle equals defeat, that you're too fragile for life's demands. And slowly, your spirit begins to rot. Here's the twist you've been blind to. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is your upgrade program. Every drop of sweat, every sting of pain, every trembling moment when you want to run, is your mind forging new circuits of strength, new muscles of resilience, new layers of steel armor for the battles ahead. Discomfort is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the teacher that no comfort zone can ever be. The unbreakable flip the script. They don't ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What is this shaping in me?" They don't run from the fire. They step into it, knowing they will rise like tempered steel, like a phoenix clawing its way out of flames, brighter, harder, untouchable. Your comfort zone is a coffin lined with velvet. It feels soft, but it is killing you slowly. Nothing grows there. No power is born there. The stretch zone, the place where you tremble but push forward anyway, that's where the transformation lives. That's where bones harden, voices deepen, and character is carved. That's where you stop being who you were yesterday and become something dangerous to mediocrity. So starting today, stop pampering yourself with the poison of ease. Seek one moment of raw, unshakable discomfort. Speak the words you've been swallowing. Sweat until your lungs are on fire. Begin the project you've buried. Tear open the cage of comfort and walk into the storm willingly. Because discomfort is not here to break you. It's here to build you into someone who cannot be broken. How many choices have you made this week with invisible eyes burning holes into your back? You dressed not for yourself, but for an audience in your head. You silenced words that were clawing at your throat because you were terrified of how they'd land. You posted something, then deleted it, then rewrote it because you were playing editor for the judgment of ghosts. Even your dreams, the raw, secret ones, have been trimmed and polished to look acceptable in case someone somewhere might disapprove. You are living not as yourself, but as a performance on a stage where no one is even watching, and that performance is choking the life out of your soul. Approval is the cruelest drug. One taste feels sweet, but the high vanishes fast, and you're left crawling for the next fix. The crowd claps, you smile, the applause fades, and suddenly you're hollow again. You are enslaved to strangers' opinions, shackled by expectations, chained to approval that was never real to begin with. It's killing your authenticity, gutting your peace, and suffocating your potential before it even takes its first breath. Marcus Aurelius lived under the suffocating gaze of millions, every decision dissected, every move judged, every choice echoing through history. And yet, he carved this truth into eternity. Very little disturbs the wise man, for he is not concerned about what people say about him, but about what he knows to be true about himself. Imagine that, an emperor, the most scrutinized man alive, rejecting the prison of approval and anchoring himself in truth. He knew the cage, but he refused to stay in it. Here's the brutal reality you've been too afraid to admit. People's opinions of you are not about you. They are mirrors of their own insecurities, their limited understanding, their desperate need to justify their choices by tearing down yours. They don't actually see you, they see a distorted projection. So why are you bleeding out your self-worth for people who can't even see you clearly? Why are you giving your soul away for applause that isn't even real? Think about someone you admire, not someone you're trying to impress, but someone who makes you pause and respect them to your core. Are they begging for approval? Are they bending and twisting themselves for applause? No. They stand like stone, guided by an internal compass that doesn't waver with the crowd's mood. They don't chase shadows, they walk in the sun. Chasing approval is like chasing smoke. The faster you run, the further it slips away. The harder you grip, the quicker it disappears. But when you stop running, when you stop begging for validation, something terrifying and liberating happens. You find yourself, and in that moment, you realize approval was worthless compared to the weapon of self-respect. Don't twist this law. This isn't about arrogance or stomping on others. This is about refusing to betray yourself for claps that vanish in the wind. It's about decisions born of your values, not your fears. It's about speaking your truth, even when your voice trembles like glass about to shatter. It's about choosing the road that builds the person you want to become, not the person the crowd demands. Your greatest victories will not come with applause, they will come with silence. That sacred silence when you know, deep in your bones, that you chose what was right over what was popular. That silence when you stop playing for the bleachers and start playing for the only scoreboard that matters, your own integrity. And here's the twist. The very people whose approval you crave are prisoners too. They're stuck in the same suffocating cycle, begging for applause, living on strings. Break free from it, and you do more than liberate yourself. You hold up the knife to their strings too. You give them permission to burn their stage, cut their cords, and finally stand free. Stop living as a puppet. Burn the stage. Shatter the applause. Become the mountain that stands tall in storms, unmoved, unshaken, untouchable. Because a man who doesn't need approval is the most dangerous man alive. He cannot be controlled. Every single obstacle you're facing right now, that rejection, that setback, that limitation, that failure, is not happening to you. It's happening for you, but your brain is wired to see it as an enemy instead of an ally, as a wall instead of a doorway. Marcus Aurelius faced plagues, wars, betrayals, and the crushing weight of an empire in decline. Yet he discovered something that would become one of Stoicism's most powerful principles. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Let me paint you a picture of what this looks like in real life. You get fired from your job. Devastating, right? But that devastation forces you to evaluate what you really want, pushes you to develop new skills, opens doors to opportunities you never would have considered while comfortable in your old position. The obstacle becomes the path to a better life. You get rejected by someone you thought was the one. Crushing, painful, feels like the end. But that rejection saves you from a relationship that wasn't meant to be, teaches you valuable lessons about yourself, and creates space for someone who will truly appreciate you. The obstacle becomes the clearing for real love. The mentally unbreakable have trained themselves to see every setback as a setup for something greater. They don't just endure obstacles, they interrogate them. What is this teaching me? How is this making me stronger? What opportunity is hidden in this challenge? This isn't toxic positivity. This isn't pretending bad things are good. This is developing the mental alchemy that transforms lead into gold, problems into possibilities, wounds into wisdom. It's understanding that every obstacle contains within it the seeds of equivalent or greater benefit. Your current biggest challenge, the one keeping you up at night, the one that feels overwhelming, is actually your biggest growth opportunity in disguise. The skills you develop overcoming it, the strength you build pushing through it, the character you forge in its fire, these will serve you for the rest of your life. Stop asking, why me? Start asking, how can I use this? Stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances. Start seeing yourself as a student of life, and every obstacle as a masterclass in becoming unbreakable. You walk around like you're immortal, like the clock isn't ticking, like the sands of your hourglass aren't pouring out grain by grain with every breath you take. You delay the conversations that burn inside you. You silence the words that could heal or ignite. You bury your dreams under the rotten excuse of someday. You tolerate people who drain you, jobs that kill you, habits that chain you, because you've convinced yourself that you have time. But time is not yours. Time is a thief, and it's already robbing you blind. Here's the savage truth that should rattle your bones. You don't know if you'll see tomorrow's sunrise. You don't know if your lungs will pull in another breath tonight. None of us do. And this fact isn't meant to paralyze you with fear. It's meant to smash open your cage and free you from the poison of postponement. Every second you waste, every "I'll do it later" you whisper, is a betrayal of the life you were meant to live. Marcus Aurelius stood closer to death than most of us could stomach. Plagues, wars, betrayals, death was his constant shadow. And yet, instead of denying it, he used it as a blade to cut through illusion. He wrote, "It is not deaths that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." Understand the depth of that. Your greatest enemy is not death. Your greatest enemy is delay. Now think about this. If today were stamped as your final day, how would you spend it? Would you scroll through meaningless feeds, thumbing through lives that aren't yours? Would you waste it snarling in traffic? Would you swallow the words "I love you" because pride chained your tongue? Would you let that dream project, your book, your song, your idea, rot in the corner for another day that may never come? No, you'd drop the mask. You'd stop holding back. You'd live with a ferocity that comfort has long stolen from you. Death awareness is not darkness. It's not obsession. It's the most brutal, beautiful clarity you will ever know. It slices away the noise. It burns the trivial to ash. It reveals what matters and exposes what doesn't. It forces you to see that the only true currency is time, and unlike money, Once it's spent, you will never earn it back. When you live like this, everything changes. Petty arguments suddenly taste like poison and lose their grip. Fear of risk looks absurd when you realize you're dying anyway. Taking people for granted becomes impossible because you finally see their presence as a miracle, not a guarantee. Every hug, every sunrise, every chance, it all becomes sacred because it might be the last. So live with fire. Express gratitude until it shakes your chest. Love like it's the only language worth speaking. Take risks that terrify you because terror is better than regret. Say the words you've buried. Create something that will outlive you. Move with courage instead of waiting for permission that will never come. Your future self is already waiting for you, watching, hoping that today you won't waste it. Don't betray him by choosing ease over significance. Don't betray her by saying, someday, when you only have now. Live like a man standing on the edge of his final hour. Because when the last grain of sand falls, there are no do-overs, no extensions, no second chances, only silence. So stop waiting, burn someday to the ground. Live now, or die having never lived at all. Right now, there's a storm raging inside your head, a voice that never shuts up. It's judging your every move, dragging you back into memories you can't erase, and pushing you into fears that don't even exist yet. For most people, this voice is not a guide. It's a saboteur, a ruthless critic that keeps them chained inside their own mind. This is the invisible war, your voice against yourself. And the difference between the weak and the unbreakable lies here. The weak drown in that voice, while the strong seize it, shape it, and bend it into something that serves them. Marcus Aurelius warned us with chilling clarity. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. Think about that. Your very soul, your essence, your spirit, takes the dye of whatever you allow to repeat inside your head. Fill it with poison, and your soul decays. Fill it with discipline, and it hardens into steel. Your thoughts aren't harmless background noise. They are the very paintbrush coloring your destiny. So stop and listen. What is your inner dialogue saying to you right now? Is it lifting you, or is it dragging you into the dirt? Is it whispering strength, or is it spitting venom? Most people would never allow another person to speak to them the way their own mind does. Yet they let it run wild, unchecked, day after day. The untrained mind is a beast, chaotic, destructive, untamed, like a monkey drunk on madness, leaping from one thought to another, like a pack of wolves tearing each other apart. But here's the moment of revelation. Your thoughts are not you. They are echoes. They are clouds passing through the sky of your mind. And you have the power to choose which ones you feed, which ones you ignore, and which ones you let vanish into nothing. The mentally strong don't try to kill every negative thought. That's impossible. They don't waste their lives trying to erase darkness. Instead, they learn to master selection, to become gatekeepers of their inner world. When a thought rises to destroy them, they look it dead in the eye, strip it of its power, and redirect their energy towards something stronger. I always fail becomes, I'm sharpening my blade through every failure. Everyone is judging me turns into, no one is watching. They're too lost in their own battles. I can't survive this transforms into, this is hard, but hard is where my strength is forged. Your inner dialogue is not just idle chatter, it is the architect of your reality. Every word you let echo inside becomes stone in the walls of your life. Every sentence becomes either a weapon that defends you or a dagger that cuts you. Change the voice, and you change the world you live in. Discipline your inner dialogue until it becomes your ally, not your executioner. Turn it into the voice of a general commanding you through storms, the voice of fire that will not let you collapse. Because until you master that voice, you are a prisoner. But the second you take control, the second you bend it into your service, you become untouchable. Master your inner dialogue, and you master the battlefield of life. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. This might be the most liberating truth you'll ever understand, but also the hardest to accept because it puts the responsibility for your emotional well-being squarely on your shoulders. Pain is what happens when life hits you. The loss, the rejection, the disappointment, the physical hurt. It's clean, direct, and temporary. Suffering is what your mind does with that pain, the stories, the what-ifs, the replaying, the resistance, the victimhood. Suffering is pain multiplied by your refusal to accept reality. Epictetus, who endured slavery and physical disability, taught us it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He understood that while we can't control the pain life brings, we have absolute control over how we interpret and respond to that pain. Think about your last heartbreak. The initial pain of loss was real and necessary. It's how your heart processes change. But the months of replaying every conversation, analyzing every text, creating stories about your worth, imagining different outcomes, that wasn't healing. That was self-inflicted suffering. The mentally unbreakable have learned to feel their pain fully without adding the extra layer of mental torture. They cry when they need to cry. They grieve when they need to grieve. They acknowledge hurt without creating epic narratives about why it happened or what it means about them. This doesn't mean becoming emotionally numb. It means becoming emotionally intelligent. It means understanding the difference between processing pain and prolonging it, between feeling your feelings and drowning in your thoughts, between healing and habitual hurt. When pain arrives, and it will, your job isn't to resist it or deny it. Your job is to experience it cleanly, without the mental commentary that transforms temporary pain into permanent suffering. Feel it, learn from it, and let it pass through you like weather through the sky. Pain teaches us about love, loss, growth, and resilience. Suffering teaches us nothing except how to be miserable. Choose wisdom over wallowing. Choose acceptance over resistance. Choose to feel what's real without adding what's imaginary. Your character isn't built in moments of crisis. It's built in moments of choice. Every single day, in seemingly insignificant moments, you're either becoming the person you want to be or drifting toward the person you fear becoming. There is no neutral ground. Marcus Aurelius understood this when he wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Each day is a new beginning to strengthen your character, and each choice is an opportunity to chisel away everything that doesn't serve your highest self. Character is built through discipline, and discipline is built through small, consistent actions that align with your values. Getting up when you said you would, keeping promises to yourself, doing the right thing when no one is watching, speaking truth even when it's uncomfortable, maintaining your standards even when it's inconvenient. The mentally unbreakable understand that character is like a muscle. It grows stronger through consistent resistance training. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, integrity over convenience, growth over comfort, you're adding another layer of unshakable strength to your foundation. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. The person who exercises for 20 minutes every day will transform their body more than the person who works out intensely once a week. The person who reads for 15 minutes daily will become more knowledgeable than someone who reads for hours once a month. Your daily habits are literally rewiring your brain, creating neural pathways that either support your goals or sabotage them. Every disciplined choice makes the next disciplined choice easier. Every undisciplined choice makes the next undisciplined choice more likely. Start small, but start today. Choose one area where you'll demonstrate daily discipline. Maybe it's your morning routine, your communication, your health habits, or your learning. Commit to it for 30 days and watch how that small, consistent action begins to transform not just that area of your life, but your entire sense of self. Character is the one thing that nobody can take from you, and the one thing that determines everything else. Build it intentionally, daily, choice by choice. These 8 Stoic laws aren't just philosophical concepts. They're practical tools for psychological transformation. They're the difference between living as a victim of circumstances and living as the author of your own story. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca faced wars, slavery, and exile. Yet they discovered something most people never do. True freedom comes from within, and mental strength is a choice you make every single day. You now have the same tools they used, the same principles that built unbreakable minds across centuries of human struggle. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. These laws must be practiced, not just understood. Your journey to mental unbreakability starts with a single choice, in this moment, to stop being a passenger in your own life and start being the driver. To stop reacting to life and start responding to it. To stop hoping for easy and start training for strong. The person you're becoming is counting on the choices you make today. Make them proud. Before you go, smash that like button if this resonated with you. Share it with someone who needs these truths. Drop your commitment in the comments and subscribe for more life-changing content. Your unbreakable journey starts now.